Well, it may be a smaller group, but that's okay. It's always good conversation. I see a lot of rock stars in here anyways. So I know this will be a very fruitful conversation about fundraising and nonprofits. So I'm excited to have this conversation because I think it's, as I was thinking about this today and obviously preparing, but it's two different conversations essentially. You've got nonprofits, which are usually what you think of your bread and butter with your fundraising. But then there's also that whole other world of organizations that are not nonprofits that do successfully fundraise. So I think we should definitely talk about both together, but also separate. So let's start with nonprofits and talk a little bit about some of the nonprofits that are working right now that we're seeing a lot of teams engage with, or unique ones that are different that maybe are new for people to engage with. Keep me honest, Spinzo team here, but a couple of things that we're seeing. We're seeing obviously a lot right now in the month of October around breast cancer awareness, pink outs, those types of fundraising efforts. Those are obviously big at this time. Some different Down syndrome awareness nights. We've seen some Alzheimer's or even like allergy free. So kind of taking that as as an angle of doing something that's a fundraiser or even an awareness. So you can kind of take, the nonprofits, and some of your nonprofits are very much focused on that fundraising, but some of them are just trying to get their voice out. I think we see too also some of the nonprofits that tie directly to our industry in a sense with like Special Olympics or other, adaptive sports types of nonprofits that are really, have that strong tie to our industry. I'll throw it out to the group, greater group included here. What other kinds of nonprofits are you seeing success with or working with? Or you have questions about, maybe if someone else is working with them. Anyone? Go ahead, Sarah.
Hello. Yeah, I just want to add, so I work with a lot of military groups. I host a military appreciation night every year, and this past year it was pretty tough. So when I say nonprofits, like my biggest client used to be Wounded Warrior Project, and they had a really hard time, getting out this past year due to a couple different reasons. But I know the first year I worked with them, it was super easy, and basically their group leader would just buy a block of tickets and then pass them out. They weren't able to do that this year, so I've been struggling with them. Vetland I worked a lot with, but yeah, I would just say for me, it's a lot of military nonprofit groups.
Fantastic. You bring up a good point, Sarah, is that I think that as you think about your theme nights, you can also think about the nonprofit groups that would tie into your theme nights. So if you do, like we have a lot of organizations that do like Bark in the Park or Pucks and Paws. Like there are so many nonprofits tied to dogs and to, animals in general. Even if you dive into some of your more unique theme nights, like whether it be a Star Wars night or like if there's a women's night where it's like hockey and heels or something that's really focused on women, there's specific women nonprofits. Maybe you could do something where you do a drive. There's a ton of different nonprofits that do things where they collect clothes for women for interviews and those types of things, or women and children. So I think if you think about the different theme nights that you're doing too, there's definitely a number of ways to bring nonprofits into those. And even if it's separate, it could be a separate promotional in itself. Okay, we've got this theme night right here, but this is our fundraising version of our theme night. So it doesn't all have to be all one tie. So could be interesting with tying it into theme nights. Has anyone done that and had success on the call? No.
I was just going to add, Denise, another category that we've seen before is when you latch on to maybe a family's raising money for maybe a child has an illness or something. You could scour the GoFundMe pages in your community, and then you could offer to help them raise money and maybe feature the story at a game. We've seen that work very well before, and lots of money donated.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also like just the GoFundMe, but we saw that work really well with a police officer that was injured in the line of duty. So that could, Sarah, potentially to tie into some of the military. I know you've got the Wounded Warrior Project, but is there a specific story that, I think that's a specific story I think speaks to people, and could be really interesting. Cool. Any other nonprofits? Are people offering different like concourse tables? What kinds of experiences or added values are you offering to nonprofits? Are you doing autographed items? Like what's actually moving the needle for them beyond just a fundraising night?
I can go. I know for us, we have our nonprofit of the night. So that includes tabling on our concourse area to raise awareness, get signups, those kind of things. We'll typically, if, requested, we can get an item for them to even raffle off to the people who sign up, in their database, basically. But that's a really big mover for us is once we tell them that they're able to table, where they're going to be tabling, like one of the most busiest sections in our arena. They're typically really excited about that. So
Awesome. I love that, Murray. Thank you. Susan, I saw you were unmuting. I'm gonna call on you. You're still muted.
So we're going to be hosting a night with A Christmas Story, the musical, with a kid again, which is for families with children of life-threatening conditions. So we're sending out an offer. They're sending out an offer where $5 will go back to the organization. And then the night of the show, we're also collecting toys for the foundation, and then they're going to distribute them accordingly. We're going to give them a table as well, but I like the idea of raffling off something for them to earn some additional funds or giveaways. So
Love that. Very cool.
Denise, leaning into the nonprofit of the night package too. Last year I had a lot of success specifically focusing on like January, February, and March. Just learning about like their goals as an organization. They wanted fundraising, but there was only so much they could do by selling like 50 or 100 tickets. But combining that with like a high foot traffic area table during the time of the year where they can get like in-kind donations and the tax credits are top of mind. I had 3 or 4 nonprofits that bought like the whole setup during that time, and they leveraged their collateral that they would hand out in person to get in-kind donations, and it went really well.
Love that, Brock. Great idea. Speaking of that, thinking about Giving Tuesday, has anyone tied into Giving Tuesday and done like we've talked about like doing like competition amongst nonprofits, like hey, on Giving Tuesday, if you have a game or you have a game around that, do you put out a promotion to group buyers or to your database? Hey, these are some of our nonprofit partners. Buy a ticket and then you choose where your money goes. I know the Rocket Classic here in Detroit, they do a huge golf and give event, and they have a number of nonprofits tied to the promotion. So they're all sharing it. But then as you check out, you're choosing where you want your money to go. I know the first year we ran it for them, which was 2 years ago, we sent out about 70 different checks. I think this past year they scaled it down to some of the organizations that weren't as actively engaged, and I think we sent out about 40 different checks, but they raised over $17,000 for some of these nonprofits. So could be an interesting thing. I mean, even if you're out of season, you could sell like potentially a voucher ticket that's good for a game later on or in your next season, but could be interesting as a tied around Giving Tuesday. Maybe even your organization could tie something in for the top 2 that raise the most money. Maybe they get an autographed item to get, or they automatically get a table for the upcoming season or at an upcoming game. So it could be kind of fun. Have them compete. Other concepts with nonprofits before we just dive into fundraising as a whole.
I think this is Brandon from the Detroit Pistons. I think one thing that will help us a lot too when it comes to fundraising of nonprofits is the fan experiences. I don't know if that was mentioned. I came in a little bit later on, but like doing high five tunnels, we have options like for basketball teams. They can Not for basketball, but for basketball, we have like opportunity you can high five either the Pistons or the visiting team. That helps fundraise money too as well. They have to hit certain minimums to hit that requirement. And each ticket they sell $5 goes back. We do the same thing for like Quarter Dreams to play on the court. It's a nonprofit youth basketball program. They sell 200 tickets to they check back sometimes too as well. When Clark was here, who was our director of group sales, he brought a concept in which was if you sell 100 tickets, we would match another $500 too as well. And that entices people to get to 100 tickets and do that too as well. So that's another concept too, is if you match it for a certain amount of tickets they sell, that pushes them to sell more tickets for you. So
now, Brandon, for that match, was that something that you guys took out of the ticket revenue, or was that something that just came out of the budget, your overall budget as a group department?
Came out of the budget. Yeah, it came out of the budget.
Okay.
So yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just an expense. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, we have
Yeah.
a couple teams that we work with that they have that tiered threshold of like, okay, you sell this many tickets, you earn this many dollars. If you get up to 250, you earn $8. So it's kind of a tiered approach. Makes it a little more complex on how you sell the tickets, and it's kind of more of like selling on consignment in the beginning, because you can't guarantee what they're actually going to get back per ticket. But I think some of those things where I like your concept of, hey, it is $5 per ticket, but once you hit this threshold, we're going to give you some sort of bonus. And I think it's interesting you talk about fan experiences too. Like if a nonprofit earns a fan experience, could they take that fan experience and then somehow auction the spots off in another way, and really leverage the way that they can raise money. So I think that's another interesting concept of like, hey, you're gonna, once you hit 100, you're gonna earn this high five tunnel. But now you have 20 spots. Like, what are those worth to your donors? What are those worth to your volunteers? Could be interesting.
Yeah, and what I tell people to do too, especially with like youth football programs, and it's kind of weird to have the concept youth football programs doing something with the Pistons, but we have them a chance like they perform on the Pistons court. The cheerleading team can, and they have the football players in their jerseys high five the players or stand for in national anthem for anthem buddies. But the way to pick those kids to do the high five to anthem buddies, I say just do a raffle and have people, and the raffle goes to them directly. So just have them like parents can put their kids' names in like 10 times, put $10 in, and that's money they get to keep, and it helps them keep it fair when it comes to picking people, so they're not having arguments or it causes chaos for them or they don't want to do the outing again. So
yeah, I think that's a great idea.
yeah.
And that kind of segues into, fundraising isn't just straight nonprofits. So there's obviously a lot of different organizations that fundraise. And Brandon's talking about youth sports. I think one of the other ones, and I saw Mike Kelly on here, and I don't know if he wants to jump in, but the Everblades do an amazing job with schools and working on fundraising with schools. But that's a huge one that we see. I mean, we're cutting $1,000 to $2,000 checks to schools all the time for some of the things that they're doing. And it's not necessarily always, there he is. It's not necessarily always $5 per ticket, but sometimes, Mike, for you guys, it's $1, maybe $2 per ticket, but you're doing huge volume. Can you tell us a little bit about what you guys do and how you're so successful with it?
Certainly, we do the tiered approach as well, where if you do get 100 tickets or more, you do get the free table on the concourse. So that's really helped drive the needle. And we let the schools and fundraisers determine how much they would like to make per ticket. So some schools, we have some that are in more richer areas, they'll do $5 to $15 per ticket back. And then some of the C-level schools can only do $1, but they're grateful to be able to offer that to their families in the area.
Yeah, that's awesome, Mike. Wow, up to $15. Like, are there schools that are successful with $15 added on per ticket?
Oh, we've seen a few. We have, I mean, we're in the Naples, Florida area, so we are fortunate in that way that some of those schools, they're pretty high end.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's huge. And then are most of these schools then tied into some sort of fan experience with you guys as well? Are you doing anything else to engage them? Are you engaging at the schools specifically to promote those nights too?
We actually don't offer the fan experience part of it. As far
Wow.
as it's really just the opportunity to sit together. We certainly push the fact that, purchase early. We've had a lot of games that have been sold out the last few years. So things are trending in the right direction, and we just love partnering with Spinzo. So you guys are awesome.
Thanks, Mike. We appreciate that. You guys are awesome as well.
I have a question for Mike. How are you like reaching out to these schools? Is your group cold calling them? Are you sending out postcards? Are you advertising it on your website? Just what is your best way or your suggestion to reach out? Like, we call some schools, the PTOs, and they're not always, returning our calls or open to it. So just trying to find a better way to get more of those schools to want to fundraise where it's actually what we're doing and they don't think we're like a scam.
Certainly, the best success is the old-fashioned way, in my opinion, is the phone call,
Yeah.
the one-to-one. We have had the most success doing it that way, certainly.
Okay.
We do a lot of emails as well. We used to do the mailing of the postcards, and it was mild success with that attempt. I would say the best angle for us is the one experience that is really effective is performing the anthem. So that is, yes, I that escaped me earlier. So that is one big thing that really helps. And family and friends, of course. And we turn it into a school spirit night. So they'll turn that around and come on, cheer the anthem singers, and then it's your school spirit night where you're sitting in the same couple sections, and it really becomes a fun night for that school, and they become front and center, certainly with the anthem.
Thank you, Mike. Awesome suggestions. Susan, it's hard when you don't have an anthem. You just got,
No,
you're not
but we
singing
do.
the anthem before
Yeah.
Christmas story.
Yeah, we do have stairs that kids can sing something on. So
Oh
we can
yeah.
figure it out.
Have you guys ever done that? Like Christmas
We-
carols on the stairs as
We
they
do.
enter?
Yeah, we have, as you enter the Fox Theater and you have the grand lobby staircase, we have local choirs that will sing during the holiday season. Or we've actually, last year, we had a school for the Addams Family, and they sang songs from the movie or the musical, and then we have someone coming out this year for the Sound of Music as well. So, and I think Dana just joined too, but Disney on Ice, we have one of our choirs that wants to sing in the concourse for that and sing some of the Disney classics. So
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see.
yeah,
But
yeah.
Hey, if it sells tickets,
Whatever
Dana,
sells
take it,
tickets,
right?
yeah.
I love it. I think you got to get creative and figure out ways that you can get, these groups engaged. And then, I think to your point, the anthem or some sort of performance, I think that pulls then on the levers of aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, cousins, and if it's a show to be able to be a part of. I mean, I know I have two nieces that dance and they end up dancing in the Nutcracker with you guys, Susan. So of course I'm buying that ticket and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm buying a $90 ticket to go watch my nieces dance in the Nutcracker. But you do it because, it's I gotta go see them. So, I think those types of things, if we can engage people that way and then to tack on a few dollars and raise some more money, I think that's a huge win all around. Other organizations beyond schools and youth sports and nonprofits that we're fundraising with, has anyone else had any other unique groups that have been fundraising?
I did a Google search looking for, because we have the opportunity called Quarter Dreams where you can play on the court. I looked up fundraising for basketball, like people who do basketball, outings, not outings, I'd say they do charity events, like a basketball charity event. And I Googled them and see if they want to do their charity event at Little Caesars Arena instead of doing it at a local high school gym or a different area, and see if that's something they wanted to explore, and that may help them sell more tickets too and get more fundraising too as well. So
did you find mostly was it companies or what? Who's running those types of events?
Typically, it's somebody who has a certain cause, like a nonprofit cause. The one I had success with, I've been working with for past 6 or 7 years, is he raises money for a person who was a local, for their local basketball star, and he passed away from cancer. And what they do is they raise money for local families that have diagnosis of cancer and they're kind of struggling, and it helps them raise money to help with the kid, the recovery or the hospital bills or any kind of expenses they have. So they do that basketball tournament, and they basically do the championship game at our game, and then they do the rest of the game somewhere else. So and then same thing with GM Jumpstart, some of the different companies, big companies, they have different arms of fundraising arms. They do things, and GM Jumpstart is one that we've been working with for a long time as well. They do fundraising for I think it's Habitat Humanity. And they have their championship games at our arena too as well. I think they do like a 3-on-3 or a 5-on-5, half court on the court too as well. So they get more people at that particular area. So
Awesome. Love that. That's a great idea. I mean, there's probably a lot of different charity things like that, or even charity races. Like, could it be a charity, 5K or something that ends right on your property or around, or could you tie into it, donate something and then maybe do something that's an opportunity for them to get a discounted ticket that does fundraise more. I think there's a lot of things that that you can do creatively with those types of charity races or events, or basketball. I mean, there's so many charity golf events too. Like, if there's a way to do something like that, I mean, you could potentially do something fun to tie into those too. I don't know exactly what, but maybe they do something where they're generating people to come to their charity golf outing, and they do a concourse table and have a putt on the concourse. I mean, could be fun. Hey, you sink a hole in one and you get a discounted entry or something. I mean, there could be lots of fun things to do with that. I like that too.
and
Cool.
one thing you can do too as well is like some practice facilities are getting built. Like our practice facility, we work out of here. We don't work at Little Caesars Arena, so we work at a practice facility that has banquet spaces. They can hold their next banquet here at the practice facility and maybe do it on the court, where the rental fee is just actually group tickets that they had to pay up front to get those group tickets. That goes towards our revenue, but also can be a fundraiser for them too as well. And whatever they do at the event, if it's auction off items or doing raffles at their items, they get that part of that too as well. So that's another concept too. If teams have practice facilities or access to event spaces, that's one area to do things too. And you pretty much reach out to any nonprofit, any category to have them do that. So
yeah, I mean, they're going to pay a rental fee for some sort of facility, so why not see if it could be tickets? Because then they can sell the tickets and make more money. So you're just giving them multiple revenue streams. I love that. It's a great idea, Brandon. What other concepts or ideas or other questions about fundraising in general that you may have for the greater group?
It's not necessarily fundraising. I do fundraising for APS, so Atlanta Public Schools. I do an APS night every year. So they get the funds back, but then another push that I forgot when we were on schools was that when we do that night, whichever school sells the most, they get a pep rally or something, depending if it's high school kids, we adjust it. But we did that for an elementary school. We finally had our first one earlier this year, and like around January, February, and the little kids really, really loved it. So that's been something that's really helped with ticket drive, at least at certain schools. If they really want it, they're going to ask everybody and their mom to buy a ticket for them. So
yeah, it's a great idea. Leveraging those with fundraising and just driving more volume.
One thing, Denise, that struck me is when Brandon said that GM had a charity that they align themselves with. This could be a very unique fallback approach to your pitch of getting corporate sales. So if the company doesn't want to do a ticket purchase or offer something to their employees, you could dig into, is there a charity or nonprofit that they often support? And then use that as your in and say, well, this is actually, we could do it as a fundraiser. And they might say yes to that, where they may have said no to just a generic ticket campaign.
Or I mean, you could even go deeper. And so they mentioned that nonprofit, go and target that nonprofit and say, hey, I actually was talking to the company that, and you could try to pull it together. Maybe a little backwards, but hey,
I mean,
you gotta figure out your ins.
Yeah, some companies like Stellantis, they actually reward their employees for being volunteers. Like they'll reward. Like I know for a while we had a big group for Stellantis. They used to buy tickets for their employees that volunteered at United Way, and it was like 200, 300 tickets they would buy. It's not a fundraiser; it's just they rewarded their staff for volunteering. So,
yeah, it's all tied to nonprofits, and Stellantis is the old or the new name for Chrysler. For those of you that are not traders,
FCA. It's gone through several names. Yeah.
Yes, it has.
Yeah.
It's all about the cars here in Detroit. Car companies. I like that though. I think, trying to, and I think that's a good point you bring up, Brandon, too, is that you know, when you talk about nonprofits or even some of these other organizations like churches and schools that do fundraising, their volunteer bases are a huge opportunity if you're not targeting them for raising money, because just because someone's volunteering doesn't mean that they, you know, they may be doing that because they don't have to work anymore and they do have disposable income and they do want to give back. You know, that could be an opportunity. I think one of the other things that that you can look at, and we see this, the Portland Trailblazers do this, it's actually with a blogger, but there may be other organizations that this could work with, is organizations that may just want to push out an offer to buy tickets that are solely donated, whether they're solely donated to military or to underprivileged kids, or, you know, buying blocks of seats. You know, there may even be, you know, these charities or arms of organizations that's what they want to do, is they just want to be able to give back and give experiences to kids. I know there's a local charity here called Special Spectators that they do some things with kids that are sick, that, you know, go and have great experiences at college football games, and others. There's Kids in Seats. I mean, there's tons of organizations like that, that if you can help be the conduit between bringing either A, bringing them funds, or B, an outlet for them to, you know, spend funds that they may have to bring kids to a game or an event. I think that's you know, being kind of that cog in the wheel and that networker could be a good opportunity to do multiple things.
Yeah, like even Visit Detroit here locally, they do outing, kind of a North End club that we call it, has like food and drinks included, like house wine, not house wine, but you know, hot dogs, sodas, popcorn, that's all included. And that's like $40 a ticket. They buy that for their volunteers that volunteer for different events they do, like the NFL draft, or you know, things that I think it's like the sports Visit Detroit sports community or something like that too, but that they do something for their volunteers too as well, and they just buy tickets up front for the volunteers. So
Love it. Love it. Great opportunities. What else? Any other concepts, ideas around fundraising, nonprofits? Any just general questions of the greater group? Because you've got some great faces on here, real success stories in our industry. So,
One that I don't think that we mentioned
Kara.
is Rotary clubs. They're always looking to do stuff, and like Brandon mentioned, like the event space, I know they're always looking for meeting spaces or banquet spaces. So you could tie some sort of fundraiser with an event space or even a tabling opportunity. I know those always are big.
Love
Tara,
that.
I can
Good.
actually speak to the Rotary Club in Cincinnati. We work with it. I also happen to be a member of our local Rotary Club, so it's a little more easier of a sell to them. But when it comes to, not every Rotary Club is fortunate to have its own foundation. So really, I think it comes down to the salesperson asking the right questions if they have that foundation. Because the club here in Cincinnati, we have 350 members. That is not the norm for a Rotary Club across the country. So with that being said, they come on a night where we already have giving back tied into the evening with our annual teddy bear toss. So for those of you that are in the basketball realm, baseball, or event space realm on this call, basically the moment we score our first goal of that game, it is raining stuffed animals. We're talking 10,000 was collected last year, plus hopefully another 12,000 or so. And there's three beneficiaries, two of them being the fire department and the police department here in the city, to go into their rigs to be used on calls. And with Rotary, I was able to tie it in because we sponsor awards for both departments. So by in turn, the Cyclones sponsored that meeting date and was able to talk about it to where all the members like, we need to do our event this coming season on that date. So if there's a way to tie in with kind of the programming of Rotary in general, especially if you don't have that unique backdoor in like I do, which is I still have to navigate the normal channels. It doesn't mean I get special treatment. But with that being said, if you don't have that, if there's a way to find out a common cause that, like polio's a big thing with Rotary, something that is really large, if you're doing a theme night or something that would tie back into Rotary itself, that's definitely going to be an easier pitch for whatever rep is reaching out to them.
Love that. Thank you, Taylor. Great context. Other ideas, questions, comments? Well, hopefully you got an idea out of this. There was a lot of good ones thrown around with different ways to fundraise, different nonprofits. I want to be respectful of everyone's time. We are at 2:31 and we say we'll keep these to 30 minutes. So thank you so much. We will see you again next month in November for our next ticket playbook. Feel free to invite your colleagues, your friends, whether they're at your team or at a different team. The more the merrier and the greater the discussion. So thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.